Okay, you know the feeling. Someone says something rude, right to your face. Maybe you're in a meeting, maybe it's at a family dinner. It's not some big screaming match, just a few sharp little words aimed right at you. And you freeze. Your mind just goes completely blank. You're left feeling totally blindsided and just hurt by rudeness you never saw coming.
You know what I'm talking about, right? That hot, prickly feeling that just rushes to your face, that knot that tightens in your stomach, and the worst part? The deafening silence where a comeback should be. You end up just giving a weak smile, you look away, maybe mumble, "It's fine." But later, hours later, you're still replaying it, thinking of all the perfect things you wish you'd said.
So why? Why does our brain betray us like that? Why do we go completely quiet at the exact moment we need our voice the most? It is an infuriatingly common feeling. But the reason it happens, well, it's not what you think. And understanding it is the secret to never feeling hurt by rudeness again.
Now listen to this, because this is a total reframe. That moment you froze, that wasn't weakness. It wasn't some character flaw. You went quiet simply because no one ever told you that you were in the middle of a test. You didn't have the playbook for this particular game. And that all changes right now.
This brings us to a really interesting idea called social probing. See, rude people, especially the ones who do it all the time, they aren't being random. They're constantly scanning their environment, looking for people they can push around. They send out these little probes, a backhanded compliment, a sharp comment, a so-called joke, just to see what you'll put up with. They are literally mapping your boundaries.
So here's the key. The words themselves don't really matter. They're just the bait. The real goal is to watch your reaction in that tiny 2-second window right after the comment lands. Do you flinch? Do you look down? Do you go silent? Because if you do, they've learned everything they need to know. They know they can get to you, that you won't push back, they've found your edge, and believe me, they will be back.
But what if you could become completely unshakable? What if you had a few simple, powerful tools that could stop this whole thing cold? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. 3 unshakable responses that are basically a playbook for resilience. Let's get right into the first one.
Okay, let's start with the most common one, that quick, stinging remark. You know, the kind that's designed to hit you, hurt you, and then just vanish before you can even think. Your first instinct is to get defensive, maybe to lash out. But we're going to do the exact opposite.
You're going to pause. You let 2 full seconds of silence just hang in the air. Let everyone feel it. Then you look them directly in the eye, stay completely calm, and you ask this one simple question. No anger, no accusation, just a flat, steady, almost curious tone.
And here's why this is so powerful. First, it makes them repeat their own rude words out loud slowly. And the second time around, without the element of surprise, it just sounds ugly. Second, it gets rid of their escape hatch. They can't say, "Oh, it was just a joke," or "you misheard me." And finally, it traps their comment out in the open for everyone to look at. You haven't even raised your voice, but you've just taken total control of the room.
All right, let's build on that. Technique number 2. This is for the joke that isn't really a joke at all. It's a little verbal blade. It's a classic passive-aggressive trap, right? If you get upset, they get to say, "Whoa, can't you take a joke?" It's designed so you either have to laugh at your own expense or look like you have no sense of humor.
So instead of reacting to that one joke, you just ignore it. And you address what's really going on, the behavior behind it. Again, you say it with a calm, almost detached observational voice. You're not talking about this one little comment. You're zooming out and pointing to a much bigger pattern. What's so devastatingly effective here is that you're showing them you have a memory. You've been paying attention. You see exactly what they're doing. See, they can easily dismiss your reaction to one little joke, but they can't dismiss the sudden realization that you see them for who they really are. You've just held up a mirror to their whole strategy, and it's pretty hard to keep joking after that.
And now for our third and final technique. This one is built on a really important insight. Most of the time, someone else's rudeness has absolutely nothing to do with you. It's a leak. Think of it like a crack in a pipe. All the stress, the insecurity, the fear from their own life is just spilling out onto you because you happen to be the closest target. So instead of meeting their aggression with more aggression, you just flip the script. You look right past the rude comment and you respond with genuine, calm concern. You're not engaging with the insult at all. You're talking to the person behind the insult. You're asking about them, not about the weapon they just tried to use.
This immediately creates a win-win situation for you. There are really only 2 ways this can go. 1, they are genuinely stressed out, and your unexpected empathy just dissolves the aggression into a real conversation. Or 2, they have to double down and keep being nasty to a calm, decent person who just showed them concern. and that makes them look awful to everyone watching. Either way, the attack is over.
You see, all three of these techniques tap into this one timeless piece of wisdom. Real power in any situation. It doesn't come from being the loudest person, or the quickest, or the most aggressive. It comes from being the stillest. The person who has mastered their own emotional response is the one who, quietly, always ends up in control of the room.
And honestly, this is the most important takeaway of all. Learning how to handle rudeness isn't really about managing other people or winning some argument. It's about building a version of yourself that doesn't freeze anymore. A version of you that can walk into any room knowing you have the tools to handle whatever comes your way, calmly and with total integrity.
The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote this down, not as some big pronouncement, but just as a guy trying to get through a world full of difficult people. He knew that rude, angry people will always be out there. You can't change that. But the one thing you can change, completely and forever, is how you choose to meet them.
So the real question isn't what they're going to do next time. It's about you. After today, you have the playbook. You are no longer the person who freezes, who replays insults for hours. You're the person who stays still, who speaks calmly, and who makes it crystal clear, without ever raising your voice, that you are not the one to be tested. You are unshakable.